Welcome and thank you for tuning in. Today is a inspiration day to visit the place where I get inspiration for my next seascape. Finally a day at the beach. Well, a couple hours anyways. My son's birthday, Robby, is on this week. I've drawn a portrait of him and I'm going to share some of that footage with you. Thanks again for tuning in, and thanks for subscribing and liking and commenting. This is a place where we always went when the kids were little. He's grown up now and he lives in Venice, but this is where he learned to surf. It's where he first went to the water. He was born here in Puerto Rico. Anyway, happy birthday, Robby. This one's for you. Wherever you're tuning in from, I hope you enjoy the minute of waves rolling in and the ocean sounds before starting this drawing of my son Robby. We all could use a day at the beach. I chose this reference photo for the first attempt at his birthday sketch. I like the profile, the structure of his nose and the jaw, eye sockets, septum underneath the nose is very distinct. But that far eye bothered me. There's just so little of it. And the hand in the hair, behind the ear, I knew I was going to have trouble with that. I like to use a mechanical pencil, although you'll see other long sharpened pencils and the use of a kneaded eraser and other erasers throughout. I try to hold the pencil gently on the end to reduce the pressure on the paper, which can cause damage to the paper. I think I'll continue with the ocean sounds at a low volume to continue the beach theme in this week's episode. I hope you like that. I'd rather have a 3/4 profile so I could get more of that past the eye. But this eye, you can really see how the eye closest to the bridge is closer to you, and then as it rounds the face, it goes around. Very good example of that. And the jawline is really cool, and the shadows there. But I started over with another reference. I decided for those reasons that I mentioned. And this one, I like the backlit effect I think I can achieve with this one. And just that out of the surf hair look, you know. Because of the hours I spent on this, I'm not including all the video footage. I'm choosing some sections here and there to hurry it along. Also, I thought you'd like to see some actual time and some 8 times, 4 times, 2 times, and then actual time video just to give you a better idea what it's like to draw this. You know, a drawing like this, or any sketch, could take anywhere from 2 hours to 80 hours, depending on your goal. My goal is to get a likeness and to stop at a point that satisfies me, to be able to present this video and to just learn and achieved the proportions and the structure and the technique. You can always learn. And then I'll set it aside. Let's see what I can get done between my other projects ongoing in the studio and in my life. Drawing is an important skill I would like to take more time with. Just like in any other piece, I begin with looking for and blocking in the values. Also, with a portrait especially, I like to think about proportions. To seek likeness, what you do, you have to get the proportions right. It might be a good face, but if it's not Robby's face, it's not good. So you've got to start somewhere, and you just start looking for the shadow shapes and the values and the proportions, and slowly it comes. But it will take some time. I want to get his likeness. To be an artist, you have to have tenacity, says Stephen Bauman, an artist who I've been learning a lot from these days. I've watched lots of his videos on drawing that are free on YouTube, but recently became a patron on his patron site to have access to his complete in-depth lessons in order. So I have his contact information in the description below if you're interested. I plan on going back to the basics and practice basic drawing regularly throughout the week, maybe 2 or 3 days in the morning. I might do some short videos on those studies. I want to practice all of the classic methods this Bauman has studied. He's trained in. I'll tell you more about him and his methods as we go along in the next videos. Tenacity, which he talked about, which means not giving up, as you know. I know this doesn't look like Robby yet, and some things are a bit wonky, but if I keep going, if I don't give up, as you're going to see in this video, till the end, I think it always pays off. You either get it or you don't, but you learn. You always learn. It's a process of adding and subtracting. The kneaded eraser is critical for erasing out sharp sections to create form and value. And also gently drawing it across a section can take some graphite away when I've been too heavy-handed. Always checking the structure and the proportions and the values. If this was a preliminary sketch for a painting only, I might approach it a little bit differently. I want to find 3 distinct values: the darkest, the mid, and the light. Because this is gray paper, it already gives me a mid-tone. But if I go with the darkest dark, the paper color, and then the light, it is not going to work. So the paper color is one of the lighter tones, but it's not the lightest tone. And so there'll probably be 4 or 5 different values. But nonetheless, the idea is to study the form and study the values and keep working on it. Like in a painting, I usually focus on one area for a bit and then shift to the overall. Of course, this is a fast time lapse, but I do try to work on the whole portion a bit and then choose a section to bring along. I want to get the full basic portrait in before I start refining any specific area. Although you see me working on one specific area, I've eliminated a lot of the footage so you don't see all of that. The nose is so important. The cartilage, the wings on the sides of the nose, and then the septum, they're all in shadow, and it's when you get the shadow correct, when you get that form right, it's so satisfying. I'm not there yet in this stage, but it's coming along. I might do some customizing of the hair but I never the facial features. Always looking at the photo. I've got to get it. It's got to be his nose, not just a good nose. It's got to be Robby's nose. Put that highlight in and take it out. I've switched to the 6B pencil to get some dark detail in the hair on this side of the face. The first pass is really stark. But then, I'll go to the shading stuff later on to soften the hair, to create a massive mid-tone so I can erase out and get those highlights on that side of the hair on that side, which is non-existent at the moment. But I was hesitant to put any hair in there because I want to have the most simplest, basic form, not just draw, and erase. Do it methodically. Slowing down, you can see how I actually work on individual shapes of curls, for example. I brought in the stump to soften the eyes, especially to try and get that curvature of the eyes. The eyes aren't right yet. They say the proportions are there's an eye between the two eyes, the distance, and then there's an eye on either side of the head. Because this is sort of at an angle, you're not going to get a full eye to that one side, but on the left side. I'm working on individual shapes of the curls, but those will be softened later on. It's a matter of having some detail, and then it's amazing. If you just have some detail, it reads over the whole painting, drawing. My favorite part is adding the white highlights. Especially want the portrait to have that backlit glow. But I've kind of overdone it, as you're going to see as they go along, on the highlights in the face and the eyes. Although fun, they're not quite accurate, so I'll have to erase those out. And the hair as well. Getting that hair over his eye and then getting the eye correct. First I had the eyes too big, and now I think they're too small. Lips are starting to be correct, but I have too much white on them. Take that white off. It's subtracting. It's just too much of a highlight. That looks much better. Just a trace of that highlight. While you watch the final session of this drawing episode, here's a slideshow of my son through the years. I hope this video slideshow doesn't embarrass him too much. Ever since he was born, he was so full of joy, so active, funny, strong-willed, creative, intelligent, athletic, inquisitive, always full of love. His high school graduation, his sister's wedding, school in Chicago, and then he went on a summer adventure to Indonesia, carrying on the love of surfing and bringing the love to the kids and small communities, working to help the people there. I really enjoyed looking through all these photos, remembering so many great memories. Good times and bad, with plenty of adventure and love, we've made it this far. Still have a long way to go. Here's a little slideshow of a mishmash of different ages. Really fun. Good stuff. Sisters, grandma. It's us in California a couple years ago. The moms before they passed on. My sisters, my families. My brother passed away. David Flack, his other sisters, the Flacks. Deja's sister, beautiful. Nieces, cousins, best friends. Birthdays are good times to remember. But every day I want him to know that I cherish him more than he may ever know. Graduated in Chicago in the middle of the winter, right after Hurricane Fiona. Sister. Sorry for the duplicates. Let's go to my art shows. They're good songs. Just like this. He lives in Venice. We went to the aquarium in Long Beach. So I got a plane back home. My mother's funeral. Hope you enjoyed that. Final sections of the footage of this portrait. I'm happy with the backlit design. I think I've captured his likeness to some degree. See, there's a lot of work left to go, but I think this is a good stopping point. You see the volume of the hair on the highlight side is maybe a little too white, but it's finally there at least. Here it is on the easel in the studio. This is how you have to step back and look at it to see what needs work. See the tractor painting behind? I'm going to be auctioning that off next week, very soon, to help the farmers of Puerto Rico who lost their crops after Hurricane Fiona. More about that in the end of this video coming right up. Thanks for tuning in to watch me draw this portrait with graphite and white pastel pencils. I have more hours to work on it, but this is a good place to stop for now. I hope you enjoyed the relaxing video and sounds of the ocean surf here in Puerto Rico as we close this episode with information about the next episode coming up. Please excuse the audio. It got really bad on the beach with the wind. I had to do a voiceover, so it goes back and forth. I guess I learned something. Filming on the beach in the wind doesn't work so well. Note to self, always learning. One of these weeks I'll get the audio right. Too bad it's not this week. Thanks for bearing with me, and as I finish this video on the beach, talking about something that's very important to me. See how the highlights are on the neck? I love that. That was what I wanted to get. That was really what I wanted to get. It was very hard. I put it in, it just looked wrong, but I think it's coming. It's getting. Next week, I'm going to bring attention to the farmers that suffered after Hurricane Fiona. I'm going to be painting it. On the 5-year anniversary of Hurricane Irma and Maria, September 17th, Hurricane Fiona hit Puerto Rico. Once again, highlighted the fragility of the essential services of water, electricity, and above all, food in Puerto Rico. After Maria, we realized Puerto Rico imports approximately 85% of our food. When the ports were shut down, we had no food, no grocery stores. The shelves were empty. We needed to change that. So a movement began. In the past 5 years, young people starting small farms. These small farms that lost their crops to Hurricane Fiona. What we realized is that so after Hurricane Maria, a lot of young entrepreneurs went back to their roots and started farms. And I'd like to support them. I'd like to support them, especially this one that I know. I know Hurricane Fiona, like Hurricane Ian, just brought with it, a large impact, but then all the rain, and the rain was island-wide, although it was the worst in the south. But for farmers, you can imagine houses and roads just rolling down the rivers. So farms, all the crops and all the terracing, all of that just ran down the hillside. So now they're putting back in the terraces and replanting, and they've lost a season, but they're back hard at work. And a lot of people are offering manpower to go up there, rebuild the terraces and clear the land. I'm excited to be able to organize with neighbors, helping neighbors, the organization we started after Maria to help others here on the island. But we can now shift our focus to these farmers, and especially this one farm, Agrina in San Lorenzo. So you'll hear more about that. I hope you join with me in helping Puerto Rico get back on its feet and supporting the farmers. Thank you. Have a great weekend. Thanks for tuning in and subscribing and liking and commenting. I really appreciate your support.